Hi everyone, it's Di here from Di's Den, and this week I'd like to show you how I made this card. I'm calling this a 3 diamond squares card. Diamonds or squares, you could do it either way. So I must be throwing a theme on diamonds over the last few months, but I'm enjoying doing the diamonds for a change. Now this is some paper that I had from out of my stash. It's not Stampin' Up paper, so please don't ask me what it's called because I have no idea. And this stamp set here is a very old set because it was one of my mum's. But I really enjoyed making this, and I love the way it stands up nicely, and it's just really effective with that way it's done on the top. So this is the card we're going to be making. So let me show you what we're going to be using. Some more new products. This is called Delicate Pines. Okay, and this set comes with these in the bundle. Comes with these lovely dies, and there's heaps of them. So I have used this die here, and I've already done my cutting out because I've actually cut this out, and I've cut that out twice. So that's all the die cutting we're going to do, believe it or not. Oh no, sorry, I also cut out this because I'm going to use that for part of my front piece, you know, for decorating. So I'm going to also be using Celebrate the Seasons for my saying on my writing panel, because this on the inside here, so I'm going to be using that. I need to make sure that I get it underneath one of these and not so that it pokes out the side. Alright, and then I'm also going to be using, this is another new set, this is a word collage. So this is a, let me show you, it is a folder. You know, an embossing folder. Now I've already used that, as you can see. I've got red ink all over my fingers. That's really clever, wasn't it? So this comes as a set. It comes with this die here that when you put your on here, it will lock into place over the top of the things. Let's get it in the right spot. Maybe if I put it on the right side. There we go. So that, see how that locks into that. So it will lock into this side here. There we go. See how it's locked in? It locks into place nicely. You pop your paper on the top, which is 6 by 6. Close that over and run that through your machine, and you end up with all these lovely embossed things. Now I actually put red ink all over my thing, so I had an outline like this. I didn't want to colour them in completely, so it was a little bit messy, but I really like that messy look on that. So that is a lovely one, and that is called, let me see, Christmas Word Collage. So it comes, the pack comes with the embossing folder and the die all in one, and I think it's really great. So we're going to go that way up then. So we're going to be using that. So we've stamped this, and we're also going to be using these. Aren't they gorgeous? Aren't they absolutely gorgeous? These are called Faceted Snowflakes. Let me open these because these are brand new. And there's some beautiful paper, and once again I forgot to bring the paper over. So these come in like a silver, this beautiful green which actually looks like shaded spruce, and then we've got our red which looks a bit more like, what do you call that colour? Cherry cobbler. So that's what we're going to be using as well. So let me show you what you're going to need, and it's not a real lot. So I cut that out. I'm going to cut that off of there because I'm only going to use these bits. Oh, let's see if I can pop those bits out while I've got that in my hand, so that they don't stay there. We don't want them all in there, do we? There we go, got that side, and there's only a couple on this side. Oops, come on, there we go. Alright, so I've got that for my decorating on the front. So I cut that piece out of a piece of card that measured 1.5 by 4 inches. So I'm going to drop that in a bin now too. I did that, that was out of the embossing folder, and that's how it comes out. Alright, so let's show you what we need. And we're going to do this in shaded spruce. So this piece here measures 11 3/4 by 4 1/8. For my writing panel or insert, you'll need a piece that's 5 5/8 by 3 7/8, which is a cherry cobbler, and then 5 3/8 by 3 5/8, which I'm using basic white. For my front of my card, you're going to need a piece that measures 5 5/8 by 2 5/8. Now that looks funny, but that's how it goes. And then my DSP, which is beautiful on both sides. I think I'm going to use that side. Yep, I think I'm going to use that side, yeah. And this measures 5 3/8 by 3 5/8. Okay, then you're going to need 3 squares that measure 1 3/4 of an inch. And then 3 more squares that measure 1 5/8 of an inch. And then 2 pieces of designer series paper. Now I'm going to use this side for this bit. Then they measure 1.5 by 1.5. And a white piece or another piece of DSP, depending on what you're going to do, that measures 1.5 by 1.5. And then I have my 2 things that I've done here, which I'm going to pop on there like this, to put on my middle one here, just to give it a little bit of difference. So let's make this card, shall we? Alright, so we've done all of that bit. So let's pop this over here. Bring in the scoreboard. Ta-da! The scoreboard. The mighty scoreboard. And we're going to score this on the long side, which is the 11 3/4 side, with the small ball at the 5 7/8 of an inch mark. Now that's all the scoring we're going to do. Wow, that's a really lot of scoring, isn't it? Okay, so we're now going to actually fold and burnish this card so that it's nice and even before we do any more. We're going to bring that in and we're going to fold and burnish the card. Then we're going to bring in our trimmer and we're going to open the card again. And we're going to bring in the trimmer blade and we're going to pop this in here. Now, we're going to pop this in at that way up. That's it. So we want the fold line at the top, on the top. So it's mounting on the top. And we're going to bring this in at the 1 1/4 inch mark. And we're going to cut from the top down to that. Let's make sure it's in there nice and neat. Down to the score line, which is the 5 7/8 of an inch mark. Alright. Once we've done that, we can move that out of the way. And we're going to turn this back over the other side because we want to cut away that score line. Now you can do this on the trimmer if you want. I just find it easier to do it with my trusty little snips here. So this is our card. This piece is then, you can use that for whatever you want. So let's pop that over there. So this is our card. We're now going to actually make sure that we don't have any nice cut lines showing, you know, like squiggly bits. And that's what we're going to use it. So this is our card like this, and my front flap is smaller. So I'm going to start by doing my insert first. So I'm going to bring in my insert piece, which is the 5 5/8 by 3 7/8, and my basic white, which is 5 3/8 by 3 5/8, and my words, which say celebrate the season. couldn't even read that. That's not bad, is it? And because I've not used this stamp before, I'm going to do the same as I did on a stamp a couple of weeks or so back now, or last week, I can't remember when it was, just to check that it's going to stamp nicely without being gluggy. I do like to do that when the stamp is brand new, so that we know that it is actually stamping correctly, especially if you haven't used it before. Okay, so let's pop that back in there. That's all the stamping I'm going to do. So I'm going to pop that in there, and I know that's going to be in between my squares, diamonds, whichever way you want them. My glue's not going to come out today. Look at that. There we go. It's a strange weather we're having here at the moment. It's early spring for here in Australia. And I'm just going to break that bit off. Yuck. Bin, go away. There, that's better. Pop the pin in there again, just for a moment, because of the fact that it's quite yucky here. Alright, you do look like you're a little bit wonky today. Let's move that out a tiny bit. Oops, there we go. Alright, so we're going to pop this onto the inside of our card so that that piece is done. That's better. See, look at that. Now my glue is working. So we want this panel, this longer piece, to be on the left hand side. So when you're cutting that piece off, make sure you cut it off the right hand side. Okay, so that's the front of our card, inside of our card done, and we're now going to do the front on this side here. So I'm going to glue these two pieces together, which is the piece that measures 5 5/8 by 2 5/8 and 5 3/8 by 2 3/8. I can't even read my own writing. That's not bad, is it? And that's going to sit on that side there like so. So we're going to do that one next. Okie dokie. Now this is where you can make a decision for yourself. You can either have your pieces as diamonds like so, or you could put them straight like this. It depends entirely up to you which way round you want to put them. I think they look more effective as diamonds personally, but that's just me. So I'm going to put mine as diamonds. So I'm going to see which way do we think this is going to look the best. This one. Now we notice that we have a much smaller gap around these. That way. Or that way. I think I like the contrast, so I'm going to do it that way. So I'm going to glue these two pieces together, these three pieces together I should say. The reason I made these a little bit smaller around here is because I thought with the wider edging, it's going to be the pieces in the middle are going to be too small. So I'm doing them that way. So let's glue those. Alright, so we're going to pop these on here like so. So we know that we don't want to put the glue past the halfway mark. So we're going to glue this down this side. We're going to do one at a time. I'll pop that one there. And make sure we've got a glue on that side. And we're going to glue it so that the middle of the hair goes down this cut line. And it starts right at the top of the card. And it comes right out to the edge of the card here. Just about. Okay, so you can see that's lined up with the edge of the card right there. Once you're happy with that, just open it up, make sure you've got no glue showing. If so, you need to clean that away. So we've got that one on there, and we're going to put the other one on the bottom here like so. So we're going to do exactly the same again. So we're going to glue down this centre line, or just under the centre line. And making sure if you've got a directional pattern, you've got it the right way. We're going to line that up with the middle of that, right so it's on this line here. That way it will be even with this edge here. Happy with that? Open it up, just making sure once again that there's no glue showing. Once we're happy, we can squish them down nice and tight. Alright, so the one in the middle, if you're going to stamp, you need to stamp on this, which I did on this one. I stamped the image on here. So what I did is, because of this is the same image as I put in here, I actually stamped the whole image onto a piece of card, and then I took this piece and I drew around it, and then I cut on the inside of that to get all the way around there. But because today I'm actually got a stamped image that is going to sit on there open light, I'm not going to do that. But I was going to do this before, I forgot. I'm going to actually open my ink pad, which is Shaded Spruce, and I'm going to go the tap test, the tap thing. Tap, 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 tap. And you'll see that you've just got just a tiny little edge around the edge of your piece. Now you can do that even with your stamped piece, that's entirely up to you. And I'm going to pop that then onto here. And then onto this one. Now once again, this is entirely up to you, because if you've put it this way, you need to do the same. You'll need to turn it over this way so that you can draw a line so you know where to put your ink, your glue rather. Now you could either do this one and you have to eyeball it down and make sure that it's up against that edge, or if you're gluing it down, or you can do what I'm going to do, and I'm going to actually put it up on dimensionals. So because I haven't got an image on here, this is really, really good, because I can just see where I need to, what am I doing? Didn't want that one there, there and there, and then one in the middle on this side, because I can't put it over there. There we go. So that's going to sit up there like so, because they'll be over the top of those two, and this one here, because we don't want a dimensional on this side, because otherwise it will stick down to the inside of the card. Okay, so pop them off. Oops, Get under there. And then I'm still going to eyeball this to make sure that I've got it roughly. So by doing this, I can actually pop that to that edge there like that. And then I've only got to swivel this so that I know it's in the right spot. Once again, open the card, making sure that any dimensionals are not showing. If they are, we can just twizzle that around a tiny bit more, like so. And we can pop that in there. So now I'm going to actually glue these onto here. So I'm going to actually glue them together. And then I'm going to actually pop this on here, but I'm going to pop that up onto dimensional as well. So there we go, we've got that into the middle there like so. So I'm going to pop this one onto a dimensional to pop here, like so. So we're going to pop that one up on dimensionals as well. And that will just go there, and I'll just glue that down flat on that edge there. So let's pop a bit of glue on that edge there, and pop this up on the up. Get in there. Just nice and flat like that, and then I'm just going to pop this under here. So I'm cutting that bit off to give this a bit of, like so. So let's pop that down there and pop a bit of glue just on these, wherever. Come on. That's it. Let's pop that one under there. And where will I put this one? Shall I put this one down the bottom? Yes, I think I'll pop that one down the bottom. Nope, come on, get in there. There we go. We've got that one in there too. That little piece wants to sit up. So let's just pop him underneath that. There we go. And that's all what you need to do to that, except for putting some bits on there. So we're going to pop these on here. So I'm actually going to use, I think I'm going to use these red ones. So I'm going to pop one of these small red ones right in the middle of this, like so. Oh wow, that just perfect. That is really just it in a bit. And I'll use a couple of these other small ones, one to put that side and one to put the other side, because I think it just will look correct with that, like that. That's just my opinion. So that's today's card. It's called a 3-diamond square. So there's just squares, or square. I should have put slash squares card. And so it's a really, really easy card to do. Great for a man, great for Christmas, and I think it would look great for any season whatsoever. Now, if you would like the written tutorial for this card, please head down below to my Facebook group called Die Stamp for Stamping Crafting Tutorials. You'll find that down there. If you're not a member, you need to answer the question to join the group. If you are a member, I look forward to seeing you back again. If you love this card or like this card, please give me a thumbs up, leave me a comment. I like to hear from you all. It does help me, and it does help with me getting a better rating on the YouTube as well. So I look forward to seeing you all again next week, and bye for now.